Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in miniature, and it is Monday. At least when I film this, which can only mean it is time once again for our weekly painting progress, where we like to pretend that we can actually paint worth the darn and, show it off. But, yeah, I know. I am my own worst critic, and check that out. I painted a base of Solar Auxilia. Now, I was painting my Solar Auxilia much like my Jade Coalition from the Maker's Cult, which is no coincidence, but I really like that jade color that Vallejo has been putting out, so why not, right? But I wasn't satisfied with just one base, sloppily done. Nope. We had to go for a second base. And a second base wasn't enough. So we had to go for a third base, and actually this one I'm kind of annoyed about because I wanted to go back and fix this up. I am going to go back and at least put some brass and paint the wires probably on their flamers. It's so hard trying to see the details on these things. They're so tiny. So let's see, I have 2 rifle squads, I've got the flamers, and I have a set of close combat guys. And again, I feel like I just globbed the paint on and it's really hard to see any details now. But when you have the camera at a 4x zoom, it's really easy to see it. So I guess maybe that's what I should be painting with? I don't know. I mean, honestly, if we're like zoomed out a bit, you can see it's not much to look at. And yeah, those are Kingdom Death boxes laying around. Those are the best storage for, carrying things around and painting stuff in. Anyway, they scale pretty nicely with the stuff that recently got poo-pooed by certain larger companies that didn't want people 3D printing stuff that they might possibly do in the future, even though there wasn't a whole lot of overlap. But that's an entirely different story. What else we got? At least those were the physical models. Let's take a look at this guy. So I have been slowly, speaking of Jade Coalition, I've been working on the Chosen of the Kami guys from Dragon Trapper's Lodge. I did an awful job on his face. That is disgusting. Shame on me. Almost as bad as that poor kanji writing going down his Sashimono banner here. And I was trying to write Chosen of the Kami, or Kami's Chosen, and I'm not happy. And we're not even going to show my wife because I'm sure she would basically disown me for seeing such sloppy kanji. Being that she is a actual ranked master calligrapher, she would not be pleased. But, this was one of the command unit guys, and you'll notice that he has a very tiny sword, and that's because I snapped it off. And I figured, why toss him and, get rid of him when I could just kind of, play it up that he's just got a shorter sword there. And I do love the fact that that's like his flag. Like I said, slowly but surely we're going to have these guys all ready for action. And I went ahead and started in on some of the more human-scaled stuff. And this is pretty zoomed in, so you can see all the nice, beautiful imperfections. I did a very sloppy... I'm still trying to figure out what these circles are on the ground. I mean, they reminded me of coins, but they're too big, so I painted them gold anyway. But anyway, I'm very aware of the hasty paint job that was applied to him. But you'll notice, even though he's kind of ducked down, he is significantly shorter than the Chosen of the Kami, but that is actually intentional. And I should have another video on the most recent stuff from the Dragon Trapper's Lodge, hopefully this week. Obviously, we want to get that up before the end of the month so you guys can go ahead and grab it. And in case you haven't seen it yet, if you're a fan of the Redwall series of books, if you read those growing up like I did, you will probably enjoy a lot of that. And the requisite samurai Asian influenced figures. Oh, we're not done with that though. We did the Enlightened Ki model, of which there were variations with more than one sword. Again, that 3x zoom probably isn't helping me any, but that's okay. I like his base, the kind of Zen rock and sand garden here as he keeps his perfect balance. Again, painting them all in that jade makes for an interesting, well, just at this point, a very visually interesting army, even though I love that color that they've got. You just got a lot of stuff going on. I haven't even started in on my cavalry yet either. But you know what was kind of cool that I thought would go well with these guys were some of the sumos from Kyoshu Neko, which I printed quite some time ago. And then I made a bunch of larger scale ones because these just weren't big enough, but these are obviously more human scale. Yeah, I did a poor job on that face. Yuck. We'll have to go back and fix that up. I thought the armor came out decent. Again, from far away on a tabletop level, I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. But man, oh man, is my Green Samurai army starting to really come along. At least my Green Samurai warband, I should say. Really fun stuff. Quite enjoying that. And then we took a break from the green for just a little this week to paint some red. Yet another of the Chaos models from Raging Heroes, which I absolutely can't get enough of. I do want to go back and touch up some of the skulls up there and maybe fill in the eye sockets. I feel like I could have done a little bit better job. There's always room for improvement. But again, I'm probably my own worst critic. There was some stuff I wanted to fix up on his shield there. But man, oh man, I really, really enjoyed this release as I play with the camera and try to get it a little bit more stable. There we go. I'm like, I keep busting out. I absolutely love this model. I'm sure he's going to be a contender for one of my favorite models of the year. That ridiculous sword, the dramatic cape. He's just a big dude. Of course, this guy's just as big, and he is hunched over as well, which is even more impressive. Both of them on 40mm bases. I have a bunch. I'm actually printing up one last model from the Series 2 Chaos stuff at the moment, and I hopefully should have something up this week. Fingers crossed. Or maybe next. But if you haven't had a chance to check out this stuff from Raging Heroes, I absolutely suggest it. Really cool. Didn't realize at first either that his arms are all bandaged up. That was an interesting thing. I have no idea why. Just, I feel like as I continue to refine my eclectic tastes in models and what I like to paint, I feel like there's like a core, like 3 or 4 companies stuff that I really keep coming back to on a regular basis. And honestly, the Raging Hero stuff is one of them. Another, as we continue our theme of red, is Erkman's minis. And the pop culture influence with his stuff is obviously very strong. I will be the first to admit, Zero here from the Mega Man X series is not a character I was ever very good at. In fact, I would downright say I am an awful Mega Man player. I did beat number 2, owned it as a child, played the crap out of it, but the X series never was very good at, and the ZX series, even worse. Oh yeah, that's right, I was going to fix up some of the white sections, especially there by my thumb on his head, blah. Again, with that super nice zoom, you can see all of the imperfections, but overall, I think he came out pretty decent. Where is my blue bomber? I know I have him. And by blue bomber, I don't mean Bomberman. But that's also a Erkman's model. There we go. Of course, this is traditional Mega Man / Rockman. We're going to need a Mega Man X now to go along with Zero, but that's something we'll have to cross at another time and date. I know Erkman is busy with his newfound fatherhood, which congratulations again. I know that's going to take up a ton of time, speaking from experience. And we're going to cap off this week with a model which, as soon as I saw her, I absolutely had to paint her. And I may not have done the best job, but it is Narumaya from Grand Blue Fantasy. So Narumaya, oh gosh, what was the race that she is? She's not human. You can see she's got her little horns here. And I feel like this model, I hate to say it, is a little out of scale. I feel like she should be taller. Most of Erngman's stuff tends to be more on the 32/40 millimeter size. Case in point, with his Haomaru and Based Ryu, you can see she's a little short, and I feel like she should be taller. Nothing that, you know, upscaling the model wouldn't be able to fix. But she was one of my absolute favorite characters in Grand Blue Fantasy. Now, I haven't had a chance to play Relink. I know she's in there, but she was one of my early figures, I was going to say models, in the game, and she carried me for quite some time when I was regularly playing Grand Blue Fantasy, but absolutely have loved her design since I first saw it, and I'm hoping maybe further down the line we will see some of her variations. But the crazy thing with Grand Blue Fantasy is there's just so many characters, hundreds upon hundreds of characters. There's like a never-ending source of interesting stuff to look for in terms of models to paint and build. She was a bit of a challenge, and I did break her in a couple of spots. I'm not going to tell you where. We'll see if you can figure out. But overall, I feel like I did a pretty decent job, if in need of some improvements, but that's half the fun of doing things like this, is always looking for a way to do a better job. Usually, I'm just in too much of a hurry. There's always something new to paint. But I do feel quite happy with the fact that I got a nice, substantial chunk of stuff done. Not that it seems to have made a difference on my painting table by any means at all. But, you know, progress is progress, and that's what this is all about, that weekly painting progress. Hopefully all of you out there are making progress as well. And if you want to show it off, by all means, drop that hashtag weekly painting progress. And I always say this, and I feel like I never do it, but I will try to upload this stuff on my own social media accounts at some point in the future. Future could be this week or 6 months from now, but we'll try to do that, along with the fact that we'll put links to all of this stuff if you're interested in painting and printing any of your own. So, with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye!